Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. Quick update on our Hilux. Some things that are going on with our Hilux. We're out in the afternoon sun. Next thing we've done, I've just put a new MAF sensor in it. You can see that, nice new one. Got a couple of issues. Well, people have had some issues with vehicles over the years where people that couldn't find the problem did a bit of guess gnostics, and there's been a few MAF. I'm not telling you to go and do this. Subscribe, turn the bell on, watch the videos, listen, because we don't want you to waste your time and money replacing your MAF sensor if it does absolutely nothing. Let me do that, okay? You've supported me, and we're going to use some of that money to do crazy things. So for people that are watching, you may know that, you know, I've had Hiluxes before. I've mainly driven Prados as in personal ownership, and I just reckon that this engine is quite rattly, but maybe that's just how Hiluxes are. Okay, maybe I'm a bit too fussy and a bit too, you know, maybe I just complain too much. But, you know, I'd hate for it to be the case that, you know, there was something wrong and it was your car and you're telling me it's noisy, and I'm going, no, that's how they are. This is why it's really good if we own these vehicles and we get to own them, drive them, use them, and sort of see what the go is and see what they're like, is in what's reality and what might fix things or not. So recently what we did is, I may have told you, we put new injectors in it. That was a while ago, you know, quite a few weeks ago. We ran it for a short period of time, a few weeks, and that's what I'm saying. It may have improved a little bit, but to be quite honest, you know, it was like, I don't think that was really worth doing. So there's obviously another issue, but it's probably not an issue. It's probably just how Hiluxes are, but we want to be sure. So we're just going to get a bit crazy. So the first thing we did, we took the injectors, the brand new injectors, out, and we put another set of injectors in. And what's really good about it is we put a set in that have done 170 odd thousand Ks that was 7 years old. So exactly at the point where I say 7 years 170, which is based on other reasons, not just the injectors. It's based on, you've got to do the labour to replace the seats then, and the injectors are worn, so it's kind of a bit silly to just go in there, reseat the injectors and not replace them, if you know what I mean. But it's a risk leaving the seats much longer than that. You can leave them a little bit longer depending on the year. If it's a 14 or 15 and you've done 200,000 Ks, I reckon they're going to be okay, right? So higher Ks, generally they last longer before they're going to leak. Check the oil pickup, you know what I'm talking about. So what we got here, we've got 100, we've got to be quite honest, I reckon it's even noisier now with 170, and it should be. But this is more experience and evidence from my experience and for me to share with you, to sort of say that, look, with 170 odd thousand K injectors out of a 2014, I reckon it's noisier. It's actually, the rattle sounds really yuck compared to what it did before, to the point that, hey, guess what? I want to go and put those new injectors back in again. But not yet, because I'm in two minds. I really want to push those out. And with new injectors, the engine isn't quiet. Now, if the engine was quiet with new injectors, and it was a little bit noisy with 170K injectors, they're the ones I want to leave in there, because I want to push them out and see how bad they get, see what readings we get out of them, and share that information with you. And the only way we can do that is see those vehicles, but we really need to own them and use them. So that's what we're doing here. So I just want to try a few other basic swap gnostics, to be quite honest. I wanted to get a new MAF sensor for the 120 Prado, because, you know, it's got that EGR P0400 thing going on, and it's your sensors that give information to the ECU that come up with these, you know, findings, if you know what I mean. So this MAF sensor was actually purchased for the 120, and it'll probably end up in the 120, but I thought, before I put it in the 120 and see what difference that does, because I've got to do a big comparison on the diagnostics and fuel economy, and, you know, see if it does happen to stop that P0400 from coming up. You never know. But either way, it's going to stay in the 120 unless it fixes the problem here. Now, you never know. I've put the MAF sensor in the vehicle here now. The engine's cold. I've started it up, cold. I've given it a fair rev, fair aggressive rev, cold. Not crazy, I know what I'm doing, but it's not blowing any smoke, and it's quiet. It's not making any rattles at all. But I've said this before in another video where I thought, oh, you know, did this fix it, the SCV, or did I redid the pilot learn? Did this, you know, short term you think it's okay? It's obviously, it's not the injectors certainly aren't really bad, because otherwise when injectors are bad, when you start it up cold and give it a rev, you get a real knocking, clattery, noisy, and it's not doing that. It's quite good. It's really good. So what we're going to do, we're not going to waste time on it and start it up and do a video showing you what it sounds like, because it's not really going to help you with much. It's trust my judgment a little bit. We're going to leave this set up with the MAF sensor in there and these injectors for a bit longer. When I say a bit longer, it could be days, weeks, or a month or longer. And we're going to come back to you with another video later and let you know, did it make any difference whatsoever? If it makes a reasonable difference, we'll leave it there and we'll order another one for the 120. But if it didn't make any difference whatsoever, we're going to tell you about it in another video, as I'm telling you now, what's happening so far with the 170K injectors. And as I told you that we took the new ones out, put those in. We're going to tell you if it makes any difference or not. If it makes no difference, this will then go into the 120 and we'll see what happens there. Just a short video, guys, to give you the update. Even my 9-year-old son, he sits in the passenger seat and he goes, because the Hilux, right? He goes, oh, Dad, you know, he goes, can I have the Hilux? You know, when I get older, you know, can we do a deal? Can I have the Hilux? And I said, you know, I thought you wanted the Prado. I think this is good because, you know, my daughter, she wants the Prado. So, you know, the 120, awesome. You know, they know what's good for them. Anyway, I go, so in the car, I promise you it was today, he goes, hey, Dad, you know, he goes, can I have the Prado? I said, what do you mean? I thought you liked the Hilux. He goes, I just want a nice quiet Prado that doesn't rattle. So there you go, right? You know, kids don't lie. This thing, mate, it's a good engine, I'm telling you now. It's good, but for whatever reason, it's probably a Hilux thing. It's probably about the time I should start driving a lot of Hiluxes a lot further and have a good listen. But this is the problem sometimes. You've got to do a lot of driving and more than 10 or 20 Ks to really get to know what the engine's putting out as far as rattles and what's normal and what's not. So it can become very time consuming. So anyway, we're not going to waste too much time on this. This is awesome, but for some reason I'm a bit too fussy with the rattles. And when you're in the vehicle, particularly with the windows down, not with the windows down, that's wrong information. With the windows up, windows down, it's all silent, you can't hear a thing. So that's how fine the rattle, what we're talking about, is that I'm complaining about. It's when the windows are up. If you turn the radio off and everything's really quiet. Once you're traveling at highway speed, you can't hear anything because of the extra wind noise and all that. You don't hear it. So one would believe that it goes away. I don't think that it goes away. I think that it's just you can't hear it because of the extra road noise, wind noise type thing, if you know what I mean. But look, we're going to do the diagnostics. We're going to do the swap-gnostics. We're going to do the guess gnostics, swap gnostics, and all that stuff. And if we find something, we'll let you know. And if we find it was all a big waste of time and money, we'll also let you know. So you can sit back and have a laugh, but make sure you subscribe and turn the bell on so that you're there for a laugh next time when we say that was $200 or $300 waste of money. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you are enjoying following what's going on, trying to work out if these slight rattles in Hiluxes are normal compared to Prados, or whether there was something wrong with something, or maybe even this. You never know. We're out here, guys. Thanks for watching. See you.